Peace, you two. All right, so let's talk about desire real quick. So, is desire bad? Not necessarily. Is it good? Also, not necessarily. So, when we look at the lens of desire, we have to really understand, are we choosing what it is that we want in life? Because if you're choosing what it is that you want in life, then you're in control of your emotion of desire. If you're not choosing what you want and you're just simply wanting it, then it's almost like you're whining for it. And that book, Letting Go, that I recommend a lot, by David R. Hawkins, it talks about how desire is actually on the lower end of the scale when it comes to emotions. So when you want something, when you're desiring something, you're actually keeping it away from you, because what you're energetically telling yourself is that you shouldn't have it. Whereas whether you're choosing something, when you choose something, that means you're magnetizing it to you. So there's a key difference in desire and choosing something, or deciding that something is yours already. You know, you don't desire to get something that you already have because it's already there, or something that's already within your reach is because it's already there. You usually desire something that you don't have, or you're giving off the energy that you don't have it. And so what's interesting is that I actually had a dream about this just last night, in which I was choosing to forfeit my desires, because I was reading the Upanishads the night before. And it's like, when you really live within the self, I forgot exactly the quote, but when you really live within the self, the higher self that it's talking about, you desire nothing. And it's interesting because when you also read the New Testament, a lot of times Jesus is saying, one of his many quotes is that the kingdom of God is within you. You seek first the kingdom of God and everything will be yours. So why are we not seeking that first? Why are we not seeking the higher self first? Because when you are truly content within yourself, when you're truly content within your higher self, you don't desire anything that this material world can give you. Because everything in this material world is actually slowly dying. It's slowly disappearing. And technically it's an illusion. But the only thing that's projecting the illusion is yourself and your own mind. So that means anything that's real, that can possibly be real, that can possibly be forever lasting, is within yourself. If you got to think about it like this, everything here is constantly changing. So you cannot attach yourself to anything that's constantly changing unless you want to go on a roller coaster ride of emotions. But if you love your higher self, if you are, looking within the higher self and you're chasing that instead, you placing your love and your affection in that, then there truly won't be anything that's outside of you that you'll necessarily need or even want to desire, because everything is provided for you. You're already living within a state of love. You're living through the heart chakra, through the higher chakras. So for you to bring everything else back to you, it just requires a sense of understanding. And can you come to an understanding of you being truly connected to everything, and everything being truly connected to you, everything that you could possibly want also being truly connected to you? And because once you do, then that means anytime you may even have the inkling to desire something, it's already yours. It's already being brought to you. The higher self is something that it's technically the only real true concept in any spiritual study. Everything that, from the range of religion, from spirituality, from science, and anything that's talking about the universe, anything that's talking about any of that stuff, is actually referring to the higher self. It's actually referring to the self. That's why in Hinduism they say that Brahman, which is the pantheistic godlike energy, it's also synchronized with Ki in the Taoist traditions too. But Brahman is the same thing as the Atman, which is the self, the higher self. So take a look at what you truly desire, right? Because in my dream, I had to really forfeit my desire in a sense. And I was wondering, it was like, I had to choose from a list of desires, right? And Obviously, things that I had already forfeited in the past, being like lust and all that stuff, I had to forfeit in a sense. But when it came to really letting go of your desires, me letting go of my desires, I had to come to a different understanding that this is about moving up out of that energy, because desire, I think it vibrates on 80 hertz or something. It could be a little bit more or probably less, 80 or 70 hertz. So desire, if you're already coming from a lower state of emotion, then desire is actually a good energy for you. You're actually supposed to move up the energies, because if you're not moving up the energies, then you're actually slowly dying. So below the energy of 200 hertz, which is courage, you're feeling lower emotions like pride, desire, fear, apathy, depression, and there's a few others too, and also greed as well. So you're feeling technically like the 7 deadly sins in the lower emotions below 200 hertz. And technically those ones will keep you in a state of constant or slow death. Or if you're moving up those emotions, then you're taking the energy from the emotions higher and you're using it to push you forward until you reach that threshold of courage, and then you push past that threshold into higher states of emotion, bliss, enlightenment, love, knowledge, all these things. But you can only get there if you know how to transmute your emotional energy. And it's funny because I've spoken on desire, and how that really ties into lust energy, and how learning how to control your lust through practices like celibacy and sexual transmutation. Learning how to control your lust is a great way to get a grip over any desire, because technically lust is the strongest desire. Sexual lust is your strongest desire. It's almost stronger than food, or stronger than hunger. And it's definitely stronger than the greed for material things, or it can be stronger than the greed for material things, because people are willing to exchange material things, to gratify their own lust. So lust has to be, or has to have the potential to be the most overpowering emotion. So when you learn how to transmute your emotions, or learn how to transform your emotions, how to do emotional alchemy and move out of those states and into higher states through the process of letting go, through the process of understanding the self, then desire won't be a problem for you. Lust won't really be a problem for you. And so there's plenty of techniques on how to do this. And you guys can DM me on Instagram, red_reams, if you want a personal consultation on how to do that. And I'll also give the brief breakdown real quick too. So when it comes to letting go, the whole gist of this is learning how to observe the emotion and let it pass through you. That's how you truly do it. So that's why I always recommend the book. There's more that the book goes into, and it's why I give it to you, so you can do your research and you have to make your own rituals with it too. But you want to be able to observe the emotion, allow it to pass through you. And there's also other techniques that I do myself, but you'll have to reach out to me personally for that one, through my Instagram, right? But there's personal things that you can create, you can add to it, that'll allow the emotion to pass through you. And once you do, then it gets weaker. That repetition will make the emotion weaker, because now you're not responding to it the same way. And it's like the same thing is also just the overall withdrawal of buying into the emotion too. And like, what does that exactly mean? It's in essence is like you constantly feed the emotion through your actions. So when you stop committing the same actions, now the emotion is not being fed properly, so it starts to die. And so you can do that with your desire, or you can turn your desire towards something else and use it as a stepping stone to achieving different states of emotions towards what exactly you want, rather than just the sake of wanting it. Oh, I want this so bad. But you can transmute that desire into, all right, what do I have to do to get this? What do I have to do to make this a reality? That's courage. You know what I mean? So now you just automatically went over 100 hertz into a new emotion, you know, and one of the highest emotions is love. So when you're constantly doing what you love, like I said, you don't have to really think about what you want. It's just already coming to you. So if what you want is already a part of what you love and you're just doing it, it's already there. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to magnetize anything. And let's say you did have to magnetize anything, you wouldn't have to really think about it. Because when you're in a state of love, everything around you is also, you can already see it around you. So that means you can see what you want around you too, which means it's already there. So that's just real quick, you know, just a little bit on desire. If you want to look at techniques on how to forego, you know, your desires, your lower desires, you can shoot me a consultation. I'll be doing it on Instagram, you know, just through messaging right now. Eventually we're going to move to a Patreon. So red_Reams if you want to hit me up for a personal consultation on that. So peace.